Captain Aiden stood at the edge of the landing platform, his boots crunching softly on the metal surface. The planet stretched before him like a living painting, filled with glowing forests, rivers that shimmered with colors he had never seen, and mountains that pierced the low mist. The crew had landed only a few hours ago, but the alien world already felt both beautiful and dangerous. Every movement of the wind seemed deliberate, every sound a whisper of something unseen. Aiden checked his scanner again. The readings were strange. The atmosphere was breathable, the temperature mild, but there was an energy signature he could not identify. The alien readings were faint but steady, and they seemed to come from the dense forest nearby. He felt a pull, a strange curiosity that made him step away from the safety of the landing platform. His crew was busy unloading equipment, unaware that Aiden had moved. He had always been a seeker, always drawn to the unknown. This planet promised secrets, and he could not resist them. The forest was alive with light. Bioluminescent plants waved like dancers, and insects with tiny glowing wings flickered in the shadows. The air was rich with scents that were both sweet and sharp, unfamiliar to his senses yet oddly comforting. He moved carefully, his boots silent on the soft ground. His scanner beeped intermittently, its screen showing the energy signal growing stronger as he went deeper. Suddenly, a rustle behind a thick bush caught his attention. Aiden froze, listening. The sound was soft but deliberate. From the shadows, a figure emerged. She was not like any creature he had seen. Her skin glowed faintly. Her hair flowed like liquid light, and her eyes were deep pools that seemed to contain stars. She moved gracefully, as if floating above the ground rather than stepping on it. Aiden opened his mouth to speak, but she was already in front of him. Before he could react, she reached out and gently covered his mouth and eyes with her hand. The touch was warm and soft, not forceful but commanding. Aiden's heart raced. "Now remember who you are," she whispered. Her voice was calm, almost musical, but it carried an authority that made him still. He struggled slightly, confused and alarmed, but her grip did not tighten. Instead, it guided him forward. His eyes were blindfolded by her hand and his mouth silenced, yet he felt no fear. There was something familiar in her presence, a recognition that stirred a memory deep within him. She led him through the forest, her steps light but deliberate. He could hear the wind moving through the glowing leaves, the distant calls of creatures he could not see, and the soft hum of energy that seemed to flow through the ground itself. His body moved instinctively, trusting her guidance even though he did not understand where they were going. After what felt like hours, but was likely only minutes, she stopped. Her hand left his face and he opened his eyes to find himself in a clearing. The forest surrounded them on all sides, but the center was open. Soft light from the bioluminescent plants filled the space, casting gentle shadows. In the middle of the clearing was a stone pedestal, carved with symbols that seemed to shift as he looked at them. The alien woman stepped back, her gaze never leaving him. Aiden felt a strange pull toward the pedestal. As he approached, the symbols glowed brighter, reacting to his presence. He reached out, hesitant, and touched the stone. A sudden warmth surged through his fingers and spread up his arms. Images flashed before his eyes, visions of moments in his life he had nearly forgotten. His first mission, the time he saved his crew during a storm, the laughter of friends, the courage he had shown when danger came unexpectedly. The alien woman spoke again, her voice calm but insistent. "Remember, Captain. Remember what makes you human. Your strength is not only in your body, it is in your heart and your mind. You have faced impossible odds before, and you will face them again. Do not forget who you are." Aiden blinked, overwhelmed by the visions. He felt tears threaten to fall, not from fear but from recognition. She was right. He had been so focused on the unknown, on the planet, on the mission, that he had almost forgotten the essence of himself. The courage, the curiosity, the determination, these were not just traits. They were who he was. He looked up at her, finally meeting her gaze. She smiled faintly, a gesture both comforting and mysterious. The energy around them pulsed in response, as if acknowledging his realization. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice steady now, though curiosity and caution filled it. "I am a guide," she said simply. "I have watched your kind for long. Humans are different. You see the world not just with your eyes, but with your spirit. Many of my people have observed you, and some fear you. Others are intrigued. You must understand your essence is rare. On this world, many lose themselves, but you have the power to remember. Aiden took a deep breath, still processing everything. Why me? She stepped closer, her hand brushing his arm gently. Because you remember? Many forget who they are when faced with the unknown. You do not. You carry within you the spark of humanity, the spark that can overcome fear, solve the impossible, and inspire hope. You must hold on to it, or this place will overwhelm you. He nodded slowly, feeling the truth in her words. The forest around them seemed to respond, the glowing plants pulsing gently as if acknowledging his resolve. He realized that this world was alive, not just with energy, but with intent. It was testing him, calling to him, and yet he felt a strange harmony with it. The alien woman stepped back and gestured toward the forest path behind them. There are challenges ahead, she said. You will face trials that test every part of you. You may doubt yourself, fear may grip you, and the world may try to confuse you. But remember, courage, reason, and compassion will guide you. They always have. They always will. Aiden looked down at the glowing plants under his feet, feeling a sense of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He had come to this planet seeking exploration, adventure, and knowledge. Now he understood that this journey was not just about discovery of a world, but discovery of himself. The alien woman extended her hand. Aiden took it without hesitation. Her touch seemed to infuse him with a calm determination, a focus he had never felt before. He could see the forest more clearly now, the faint paths that twisted through the glowing trees, the shapes of creatures in the distance. Each detail was sharp, vivid, alive. You are ready, she said softly. Go forward and remember who you are. Aiden nodded, his heart steady. The fear that had gripped him when he first entered the forest was gone. He felt a quiet excitement, a sense that he was about to embark on something far greater than any mission he had ever undertaken. He understood that survival would not be enough. He had to excel, to embrace every aspect of himself that made him human. The alien woman watched him step onto the path that led deeper into the forest. She did not follow, but her presence lingered in the air, a reminder that he was not alone, that guidance was always near, and that humanity was more powerful than he had realized. As Aiden moved forward, the forest seemed to shift around him. Paths opened where none had existed. Creatures observed him without fear, and energy flowed through the ground as if recognizing his resolve. He felt connected to the planet in a way that was both exhilarating and humbling. In that moment, Captain Aiden understood that this encounter was the beginning of a journey that would test every part of him, body, mind, and spirit. He was not merely an explorer on a strange world. He was a human being, and that alone made him extraordinary. The clearing faded behind him as he advanced into the unknown. The whispers of the forest grew fainter, replaced by the rhythmic sound of his own heartbeat, steady and confident. He carried with him the memory of the alien woman, her words echoing in his mind. Remember who you are, and he would. Captain Aiden walked carefully along the glowing path, each step bringing him deeper into the forest. The light from the plants pulsed softly as if guiding him forward. He could feel the energy of the planet beneath his feet, warm and alive. His mind replayed the words of the alien woman. Remember who you are. The phrase echoed in his thoughts like a mantra, steadying him with every step he took. The forest seemed to shift as he moved. Trees twisted into shapes he had never seen, their leaves shimmering with colors that changed with the rhythm of the wind. Strange creatures peeked from behind glowing branches, their eyes curious but not threatening. Aiden realized that the world was watching him, studying him. He could feel it, a silent test of his courage and determination. He paused for a moment and touched a tree. Its surface was smooth, almost liquid in texture. The energy pulsing through it traveled into his fingers and spread through his body. Images flashed in his mind. He saw moments from his past, small but powerful memories that defined him. He remembered the first time he had led a mission, the trust his team had placed in him, and the choices he had made when danger came unexpectedly. He also saw failures, times when he had doubted himself or made mistakes. At first he felt a pang of guilt, but then he realized that those mistakes had shaped him just as much as his successes. Each memory carried a lesson, and the forest seemed to guide him to see them clearly. Suddenly, a soft light appeared ahead, forming the shape of the alien woman. She did not speak, but her presence was comforting. She gestured for him to sit on a flat stone that glowed with soft golden light. Aiden obeyed, feeling the calm wash over him as he settled down. The alien woman raised her hands, and the light from the stone expanded, surrounding Aiden in a warm glow. He felt his mind open, thoughts flowing freely as if the barriers he had built around himself were dissolving. He could see not only his memories but the potential within him. Skills he had not yet realized, courage he had not yet tested, and ideas he had not yet imagined. Humans have the ability to awaken, the alien woman said softly, her voice resonating in his mind, not just to survive but to excel. You carry within you the spark of innovation, of empathy, of strength. Many forget it, but you remember. That is why you are here. Aiden took a deep breath. The sensations were overwhelming, but he welcomed them. He felt his heart open to the possibilities around him. He could see how humans, though not the strongest or the fastest, had the capacity to adapt and thrive in ways that few species could. His mind raced with thoughts of what he could achieve if he embraced this potential fully. You must trust yourself, she continued. Fear will try to bind you. Doubt will whisper in your ear. But your essence, your humanity, will guide you. It is not just courage you need. It is clarity, compassion, and creativity. These are your greatest weapons. Aiden closed his eyes and let the words sink in. He thought of his crew, of the people he had led and inspired. He remembered the countless times humans had faced impossible odds and still found a way to succeed. That resilience was not just luck. It was the result of hope, intelligence, and the will to endure. When he opened his eyes, the forest seemed even more alive. The creatures no longer hid, and the plants leaned toward him, glowing brighter. It was as if the world itself recognized the awakening within him. He could feel energy flowing through him, a connection to the planet that was both humbling and empowering. The alien woman extended her hand again. Aiden took it, and instantly his thoughts became clearer. He could sense the paths ahead, the challenges waiting for him, and the decisions he would need to make. He felt confident but not arrogant. He knew that the trials would test him, but he also knew that he possessed the qualities to succeed. You are ready to see, she said. But seeing is not just with your eyes. You must perceive the essence of things, understand their nature, and act with purpose. Only then will you overcome what lies ahead. Aiden nodded, feeling a sense of determination stronger than anything he had experienced before. The forest opened into a wide valley, illuminated by glowing plants and rivers that shimmered like liquid silver. Strange creatures moved gracefully, observing him without fear. The air was thick with energy, and he could sense that every step he took was being tested. He noticed a formation of rocks ahead, carved into shapes that resembled gates. Each gate radiated a different kind of energy. The alien woman gestured toward them. These are the trials, she said. Each one will challenge a part of you, mind, body, and spirit. You must succeed in all to continue. Failure will teach, but it will also limit. Remember, human, your essence is your strength. Trust it. Aiden approached the first gate. As he touched it, a sudden vision filled his mind. He was in a dark space surrounded by shifting shadows. They whispered doubts, fears, and questions he could not answer. At first, panic rose in his chest, but he focused on the lessons from the alien woman. He remembered his past victories, his courage, and the trust he had built with his team. Slowly, the shadows began to fade, unable to penetrate the clarity of his mind. The first gate opened, revealing the second. This trial tested his body. The ground beneath him shifted and changed, forming obstacles that required balance, strength, and agility. Rocks rose and fell. Rivers changed direction, and gravity seemed uncertain. Aiden moved carefully, relying on instinct and adaptability. Every step demanded focus, but he felt alive, aware of his own capabilities in a way he had never experienced. Finally, he reached the third gate. This one tested his spirit. He faced visions of those he cared about, dangers to his crew, and the possibility of failure. The fear was intense, but he drew on empathy and courage. He imagined guiding his crew, protecting them, and inspiring them to overcome. He realized that leadership and humanity were inseparable. The trial did not vanish when he succeeded. It became a part of him, strengthening him. When he emerged, the alien woman was waiting. She smiled, a gesture of approval and pride. You have remembered, she said. You have seen what lies within and embraced it. The path ahead will not be easy, but you are prepared. Your essence, your humanity, will guide you through every challenge. Aiden felt a sense of calm determination. The forest no longer seemed mysterious or threatening. It was a place of learning, a world alive with energy and knowledge. He understood that the alien woman had not simply shown him the way. She had helped him awaken the full potential of what it meant to be human. You will face choices soon, she said. Paths that will test your wisdom, your courage, and your compassion. Do not fear them. Embrace them. Remember that your actions matter, that your decisions carry weight, and that your humanity is your greatest strength. Aiden took a deep breath. The lessons of the forest, the visions of his life, and the guidance of the alien woman all merged into a clarity of purpose. He was not merely exploring a planet, he was exploring himself. Every step he took from now on would be guided by the knowledge that humans could rise above fear, solve the impossible, and inspire others. The alien woman stepped back, her glow fading slightly, but her presence remained in his mind. Go forward, she said. The world will test you. You will learn. You will grow. And you will remember who you are. Aiden nodded, feeling a resolve that carried him beyond the clearing. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges and discoveries, but he knew he could face them. The awakening within him had changed everything. He understood his abilities, his courage, and the unique qualities that made humans extraordinary. As he walked deeper into the valley, the light of the bioluminescent plants reflected in his eyes, and he felt a connection not just to the planet but to the universe. He was part of something greater yet uniquely capable. Humans had always adapted, persevered, and thrived, and now he felt that power in every fiber of his being. The alien woman's voice echoed softly in his mind, a reminder of the lessons he had learned. Remember who you are. Trust yourself. Use your humanity. And he would. Captain Aiden stepped forward into the unknown, ready to face the trials, ready to embrace the journey, and ready to awaken the full potential that had always been inside him. Captain Aiden stepped forward with cautious confidence. The valley stretched before him, glowing with soft, radiant light. Strange creatures moved along the edges, observing him silently, their eyes reflecting curiosity rather than fear. The forest beyond the valley seemed alive, shifting subtly with every movement he made. He understood that this place was more than just a landscape. It was a challenge designed to test him in ways he had never imagined. Ahead he saw the first of the great crystal gates, rising like a monument from the glowing ground. Its surface reflected not his image, but fragments of his thoughts. Symbols pulsed across the crystal, flickering like fire, showing moments from his life, memories both joyful and painful. Aiden knew this was the first trial, a test of his mind. As he approached, the symbols began to swirl faster, forming questions he had never answered, doubts he had ignored, and fears he had buried. The voices of the shadows he had seen before whispered through his mind, testing his resolve. He could feel panic trying to take hold, but he focused on the words of the alien woman. Remember who you are. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He remembered the courage he had shown in past missions, the trust he had built with his crew, and the strength that had carried him through danger. One by one, the doubts faded. He realized that his mind was not a weakness but a tool, capable of seeing solutions where others might fail. With clarity and determination, the symbols stopped swirling, and the crystal gate parted. Light spilled through, illuminating the path forward. Aiden stepped through and found himself on uneven ground. The second trial began immediately. Rocks shifted beneath his feet, forming obstacles that rose and fell unpredictably. Rivers appeared and disappeared, flowing across the path in strange directions. Gravity seemed uncertain, pulling him sideways or downward at random intervals. He understood that this was a test of his body, of his instincts and adaptability. He could not rely on brute strength alone. He observed the patterns of the environment and adjusted his steps carefully, using both agility and reason. When a river appeared suddenly, he leaped with precision, landing safely on a glowing stone. When the ground shifted beneath him, he used his balance and intuition to recover without falling. The creatures of the forest watched silently, their presence almost ceremonial. They did not interfere but seemed to guide him with subtle cues. A flick of a tail, a flash of light, a sound in the distance. Aiden noticed these details and incorporated them into his movements. He realized that observation, patience, and awareness were as important as strength. Hours passed, though time felt different in this place. He navigated the obstacles, each step building his confidence. When he reached the top of a steep incline, he looked back and saw the valley below, glowing softly. The trials had tested his mind and body, but he felt stronger, more attuned to the energy of the planet and more aware of his own abilities. The third gate loomed ahead, This one radiated a gentle light, but Aiden could feel its weight on his mind and spirit. He stepped closer and felt visions fill his thoughts. His crew in danger, failures he could not prevent, and the possibility of losing those he cared about. Fear and doubt pressed against him, stronger than any physical obstacle he had faced. He remembered the alien woman's words. Courage, reason, and compassion will guide you. Aiden focused on the lessons he had learned, drawing strength from his humanity. He imagined himself protecting his crew, guiding them and making choices that would benefit not just himself but others. Each vision tested his empathy, his decision-making, and his moral judgment. Slowly, he realized that this trial was not about avoiding fear or pain, but about embracing responsibility. He could not control everything, but he could act with purpose, using his intellect and heart together. The visions began to fade, replaced by a sense of calm and clarity. He understood that leadership was not simply giving orders. It was inspiring, protecting, and making difficult choices with courage. The crystal gate opened, and a gentle wind brushed against him. Aiden stepped through, feeling the final trial complete. He had faced the mind, body, and spirit and emerged stronger in all three. The forest seemed to recognize his achievement. Light shimmered around him, and the creatures of the valley observed him with respect. Beyond the gate, a wide clearing awaited. In the center was a platform of smooth stone glowing with golden light. The alien woman appeared, her presence serene and radiant. She watched him with eyes that reflected pride and understanding. "You have passed the trials," she said. "You have faced challenges that test every part of you. Your mind has overcome doubt, your body has adapted, and your spirit has embraced responsibility. You have remembered who you are." Aiden felt a mixture of relief and accomplishment. He realized that the trials were not just tests of survival, but opportunities to awaken his full potential. Each challenge had pushed him to rely on qualities that defined humanity: courage, adaptability, empathy, and intelligence. "Why are these trials necessary?" he asked, still catching his breath. The alien woman smiled gently. "Many who come here lose themselves to fear or doubt. The planet is alive, and it responds to the essence of those who enter. Only those who remember their true nature can navigate it. Humans are rare in this regard. You have the spark of creativity, courage, and compassion. That spark allows you to see what others cannot, to overcome what others fail, and to inspire those around you." Aiden absorbed her words. He thought of his crew, of the countless humans who had faced impossible odds and succeeded. He realized that these qualities were not just personal traits, but a legacy of humanity. Even in the vastness of the universe, humans carried something unique, an ability to adapt, to think, and to care. "You are ready for the next step," she continued. "The path ahead will not be as simple as the trials you have faced. Decisions must be made, choices that affect more than just yourself. But you are prepared, and your essence will guide you." Aiden nodded, feeling a sense of purpose settle within him. The trials had revealed more than his strength. They had shown him his potential, his ability to act with clarity, and the importance of embracing every aspect of humanity. He felt connected to the planet, to the creatures, and to the alien woman who had guided him. He glanced back at the crystal gates. They shimmered faintly as if acknowledging his journey. Each one had tested a different part of him, and each had revealed that the true strength of a human lay not in physical power alone, but in the combination of mind, body, and spirit. The alien woman stepped aside, gesturing toward a path that led deeper into the forest. "Go forward," she said. "The challenges ahead are different. They will test your wisdom, your courage, and your compassion in ways you have not yet experienced. But you have learned that human potential is extraordinary. Trust it and you will succeed." Aiden took a deep breath and moved forward. The path twisted through trees that shimmered with light, over rivers that reflected colors he could not name, and past creatures that observed silently. He felt alive in a way he had never experienced. The trials had strengthened him, but more importantly, they had awakened something within him, a clarity of purpose, an awareness of his abilities, and a deep respect for his own humanity. As he walked, he reflected on what he had learned. Fear was not a weakness. It was a signal to act with courage. Doubt was not failure. It was a chance to prove resilience. Responsibility was not a burden. It was an opportunity to lead, inspire, and protect. These lessons were universal, yet they were uniquely human in their expression. He remembered the alien woman's words. "Your essence is your strength." The phrase resonated in his mind as he continued along the glowing path. Every step seemed deliberate, every movement purposeful. He understood that the universe was vast and challenging, but humans had the ability to rise to the occasion, to face the unknown, and to leave a mark even in distant worlds. Finally, the path opened into a wide clearing, bathed in the light of a twin sunset. The colors were breathtaking, a mixture of gold and violet reflecting on the rivers and plants. Aiden stood still, taking in the view. He knew that the next phase of his journey would be even more demanding, but he felt ready. He carried within him the lessons of the trials, the awakening of his potential, and the guidance of the alien woman who had shown him the path. He looked toward the horizon where the forest stretched endlessly. Ahead lay unknown challenges, discoveries, and choices that would define not only his journey, but perhaps the fate of those he cared about. He felt a deep sense of resolve. Humanity had endured, adapted, and thrived across the stars. Now it was his turn to prove that human potential could shine even in the most extraordinary circumstances. Captain Aiden took a step forward, the golden light of the clearing illuminating his path. He was no longer simply an explorer. He was a human, awakened to the full scope of his abilities, ready to face the trials of the universe and determined to remember who he was. Captain Aiden stood at the edge of the glowing valley, feeling the weight of what lay ahead. The twin suns cast long shadows across the forest, turning the leaves into a brilliant tapestry of gold and violet. The alien woman's guidance had brought him through the trials, awakened his mind, body, and spirit, and revealed the potential within him. Yet now he sensed that the true test was not one of skill or courage alone, but of choice. The path ahead split into two. One led to a distant plateau, where a vast energy source pulsed like the heartbeat of the planet. The other descended into a hidden valley, shrouded in mist where he could feel the faint presence of the planet's native civilization. The choice was not clear. Each path promised challenge and reward, but each also carried risk. The alien woman appeared beside him, her luminous form glowing softly. She did not speak at first, allowing him to feel the weight of the decision. Finally, she said, "Each path has its purpose. One tests your vision, your ability to innovate and create solutions that can change worlds. The other tests your compassion, your capacity to act for others, to protect and guide. The choice is yours, Captain. There is no right or wrong, only who you choose to be." Aiden closed his eyes, thinking of the lessons he had learned. The trials had revealed his mind's clarity, his body's adaptability, and his spirit's resilience. He had seen how human ingenuity could solve impossible problems, how courage could overcome fear, and how compassion could guide difficult decisions. But now, he realized, the planet demanded more than skills. It demanded understanding, judgment, and the willingness to act selflessly. He stepped toward the plateau, feeling the energy pulsing beneath his boots. The ground shimmered with power, vibrant and alive. He imagined the possibilities, technology, knowledge, innovation. He could harness this energy, study it, and use it to benefit countless worlds. Humans had always sought to explore, to discover, to advance. The choice tempted him, calling to the part of him that sought knowledge and achievement. Yet at the same time, the hidden valley drew him. He could feel the faint hum of life, the delicate balance of the alien ecosystem, and the vulnerability of its inhabitants. He imagined the consequences of inaction. If he pursued only the energy, the creatures and civilization might suffer, or worse, be destroyed. Compassion stirred within him, a reminder of the human spirit that thrived not just on discovery but on empathy and protection. Aiden paused, breathing deeply. The twin suns illuminated both paths, yet the decision felt internal, a reflection of who he truly was. Was he a seeker of knowledge, willing to risk others for the sake of advancement? Or was he a guardian, willing to place himself in danger to protect life and maintain harmony? The alien woman observed silently, her eyes reflecting both patience and expectation. "Your choice will define more than this moment," she said. "It will shape your journey and reveal what it means to be human. Courage alone is not enough. Wisdom and compassion must guide your path." He thought of Earth, of his crew, of the countless humans who had faced impossible odds and succeeded through ingenuity and teamwork. He understood that true greatness did not come from power alone, but from the willingness to use that power wisely. and to protect what was valuable. Humans had thrived not because they conquered blindly, but because they balanced intellect with heart, ambition with empathy, and courage with morality. Finally, he stepped toward the hidden valley. The mist swirled around his boots and the faint energy of life pulsed in response to his presence. He knew the path would be difficult, filled with unknown dangers and complex decisions. Yet he felt certain that this choice aligned with the essence of humanity, the desire to protect, to guide, and to nurture. As he descended, the alien woman followed at a distance, her form barely visible in the soft light. The forest grew denser, the mist thicker, and the air filled with the faint calls of creatures that moved silently among the trees. Aiden felt both awe and responsibility. Every step carried significance. Every movement could influence the balance of life around him. He encountered the first sign of challenge quickly. A stream blocked the path, its waters glowing faintly with the same energy he had seen at the plateau. Yet it was unstable, shifting and changing as he approached. Using the agility and adaptability he had honed during the trials, Aiden leaped across stones, balanced on roots, and finally reached the other side without falling. The creatures of the forest observed from the banks, their gaze both curious and approving. Deeper in the valley, he discovered a small village, inhabited by alien beings whose forms were unfamiliar but graceful. They looked fragile in the presence of the forest's power, and their movements suggested intelligence and cooperation. Aiden realized that this civilization relied on harmony with the planet. Any disruption could threaten their survival. He understood that his decisions could have lasting consequences. The alien woman appeared beside him again. "These beings are connected to the planet," she explained. "Their lives depend on balance. Your actions will influence the outcome. You must act with awareness and responsibility." Aiden observed the village, noting the patterns of life, the care they took with the environment, and the way they communicated with one another. He recognized that the lessons he had learned from the trials, clarity of mind, adaptability, and empathy, would be crucial here. He could not rely solely on strength or intelligence. He needed to integrate all aspects of his humanity to succeed. Suddenly, a disturbance rippled through the valley. A section of the forest began to collapse, glowing trees tilting dangerously and creatures fleeing from the approaching hazard. Aiden understood immediately that action was required. Without hesitation, he ran toward the danger, using his agility and reasoning to stabilize the collapsing area. He directed the creatures toward safe zones and guided the villagers to higher ground. It was exhausting, both physically and mentally, but Aiden felt alive. Each decision, each movement reflected the lessons of the trials and the essence of humanity. He was not alone. The creatures seemed to respond to his presence as if acknowledging his intentions and cooperating with him. He felt a connection that went beyond understanding, a bond of trust and respect. The alien woman observed quietly, a faint smile on her face. "You are acting as a human should," she said. "You are using courage, wisdom, and compassion together. This is the essence of your species. You do not simply survive, you inspire, protect, and create harmony." Aiden continued to guide the villagers and creatures until the immediate danger passed. The forest settled, the streams returned to their normal paths, and the creatures resumed their movements, calm once more. He looked around, exhausted but fulfilled. He realized that the choice to protect life had demanded more of him than the path of innovation. Yet it had also revealed the deepest strengths of his humanity. The alien woman stepped forward fully now, her glow brighter in the dimming light of the twin suns. "You have chosen wisely," she said. "The path of compassion is not easy, but it reveals the true potential of humans. You understand that strength is not only in what you can achieve, but in how you use it for the good of others. You have remembered who you are." Aiden nodded, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. He understood that the journey ahead would continue to test him, that the universe would present challenges that required courage, intelligence, and empathy together. But he was ready. The awakening of his potential, the lessons of the trials, and the choices he had made had prepared him for anything. He looked toward the horizon, where the hidden valley opened into an even larger expanse of glowing forests and rivers. The village and its inhabitants were safe for now, but he knew this was only the beginning. There would be more challenges, more opportunities to act, and more chances to prove that humans could rise to the occasion, even in alien worlds. The alien woman placed her hand lightly on his shoulder, The choice you made reflects the best of your kind. Continue forward with clarity, courage, and compassion. Your journey is far from over, but you are ready for what comes next. Aiden felt a surge of determination. He had faced the trials, discovered his potential, and made a choice that reflected the essence of humanity. The path forward would be uncertain, filled with risks and responsibilities, but he felt a connection to the universe, to life itself, and to the unique qualities that made humans extraordinary. As the twin suns set behind the distant mountains, the valley glowed softly, a reflection of the harmony he had helped preserve. Captain Aiden took a deep breath, feeling the lessons of the trials and the awakening of his potential solidify within him. He was not merely an explorer. He was a human capable of shaping outcomes, protecting life, and rising to challenges that tested every part of him. With steady steps, he moved forward into the deeper forest, ready for the next chapter of his journey. The alien woman's words echoed in his mind, guiding him with every step. Remember who you are, and he would. For every challenge ahead would require the courage, wisdom, and compassion that defined humanity. Captain Aiden walked through the deeper forest, the glow of the plants reflecting softly on his armor. The valley he had saved stretched behind him, serene and alive, its creatures moving freely among the glowing trees. The alien village was safe. The streams returned to their natural flow, and the delicate balance of life seemed to acknowledge his presence. Yet Aiden knew this was not the end. The planet held more challenges, more mysteries, and more lessons to teach. As he moved, he reflected on the journey that had brought him here. From the moment the alien woman had appeared, covering his mouth and eyes with her hand and urging him to remember who he was, he had faced trials that tested every part of him. Mind, body, and spirit had been awakened, and each trial had revealed the true strength of humanity. Courage, creativity, adaptability, and empathy were not just traits. They were the essence of who he was. The forest opened into a wide clearing. In the center was a crystalline pool, glowing faintly with the energy of the planet. The alien woman appeared beside it, her presence calm and radiant. "This pool reflects not only the world around you, but also the choices you have made," she said. "It is a record of your actions, your courage, and your compassion. You have acted wisely, human, and your legacy is now part of this world." Aiden approached the pool and looked into its shimmering surface. He saw reflections of his journey, the trials, the villagers he had saved, the creatures who had responded to his guidance, and the forest itself. He saw his own determination and growth, the choices he had made with care and thought, and the humanity that had guided him through every challenge. The images filled him with a sense of fulfillment and purpose. "You have proven that humans are capable of extraordinary things," the alien woman continued. "Your species carries a spark that can inspire, protect, and transform. Even in distant worlds, that spark can bring balance and hope. Never forget it." Aiden nodded, feeling the truth of her words resonate deeply. He realized that his journey was not only about survival or discovery. It was about understanding the value of life, the importance of choices, and the power of human potential. The lessons he had learned here were universal. Strength without wisdom could be destructive, courage without compassion could be reckless, and intelligence without purpose could be hollow. The alien woman gestured toward the horizon. "Beyond this valley lies a world waiting for your influence. You may return to your kind or remain to help this planet. The choice is yours, but know that your actions will leave a mark wherever you go." Aiden felt the pull of both paths. Earth, his home, called to him. But the alien world had become more than a mission. It had become a place where he had grown, learned, and discovered the full extent of his abilities. Yet he understood that the lessons of this planet could benefit not only himself but all of humanity. His knowledge, courage, and compassion could inspire solutions, diplomacy, and growth on Earth and beyond. He made his decision. "I will return," he said firmly. "Not to leave this world behind, but to carry its lessons with me. Humanity can grow stronger, wiser, and kinder. I will ensure that what I have learned here is shared, respected, and used to inspire." The alien woman's smile deepened. "Then your journey continues, human. Remember the trials, remember the choices, and remember who you are. The universe is vast, but the spark of humanity is enough to shine across it." Aiden turned toward the path that would lead him back to the landing platform. The forest seemed to respond, the glow of the plants intensifying as if acknowledging his resolve. Creatures peeked from the trees, watching silently but without fear. their presence a quiet blessing for the choices he had made. The return journey was peaceful, yet full of reflection. He moved carefully, observing the interactions of the forest's inhabitants, the flow of the rivers and the rhythm of life around him. Every step reinforced the lessons he had learned, that observation, patience, empathy, and careful action were essential for guiding both himself and others. When he reached the landing platform, his crew was already preparing for departure. They had seen the changes in him, the confidence and clarity that radiated from his every movement. Aiden shared little of the alien woman's guidance directly, knowing that words could not fully capture the lessons. Instead, he shared actions, solutions to technical challenges, careful planning and encouragement that inspired his team to work together in new and creative ways. As the ship lifted off, the forest receded beneath him, glowing softly under the twin suns. Aiden looked out at the planet one last time, feeling gratitude for the trials, the guidance, and the awakening of his potential. He understood that humanity's uniqueness was not only in its ingenuity, but in the balance of courage, intelligence, and compassion. That balance was his legacy to carry forward. Back aboard the ship, Aiden worked alongside his crew, applying the lessons he had learned. He devised new systems to improve efficiency, strategies to enhance cooperation, and solutions to problems that had seemed impossible before. His humanity, his ability to lead, inspire, and think creatively, became a catalyst for progress. The alien woman's influence lingered in his mind. He remembered her words about the spark of humanity, and he realized that the universe was full of challenges that could benefit from that spark. Humans were explorers, problem solvers, and protectors. Their strength lay not just in technology or skill, but in their capacity to adapt, care, and act wisely. Weeks later, Earth's communications received his reports. Scientific discoveries, new strategies for interstellar cooperation, and insights into alien ecosystems arrived with clarity and precision. Leaders, scientists, and explorers marveled at the innovative solutions he proposed. The impact of his choices on the alien world and the trials he had faced became the foundation of new programs designed to expand humanity's understanding and reach across the stars. Aiden often thought of the alien woman. He wondered if she watched from afar, observing the results of his decisions, or if her role was complete now. He realized that her guidance had been a mirror, reflecting not what he was but what he could become. Every challenge he faced thereafter, every choice he made, carried the lessons she had instilled: courage, clarity, and compassion. He also thought of the alien village, of the creatures who had responded to his presence, and the harmony he had helped restore. He knew that the legacy of his actions would continue long after he left. The planet itself seemed to remember, the energy flowing through it carrying traces of his decisions and influence. Aiden understood that even a single human could leave a lasting mark when guided by purpose and humanity. As humanity continued its exploration of the stars, Aiden became a figure of inspiration. His reports and actions demonstrated that humans were capable of extraordinary things. They could navigate alien worlds, solve impossible challenges, and act with wisdom and compassion. The spark within them, the very essence of humanity, was enough to bring balance, hope, and progress wherever they went. Years later, Aiden returned to the planet briefly, not as an explorer seeking trials, but as a visitor observing the harmony he had helped preserve. The village thrived, the rivers flowed steadily, and the forest glowed with life. He saw traces of his influence everywhere, a reminder that human choices, when guided by courage and empathy, could leave a positive mark across the galaxy. The alien woman appeared once more, her presence as calm and luminous as ever. She did not speak this time, only gestured toward the thriving valley and then toward the stars. Aiden understood. Humanity's journey was ongoing. Challenges, discoveries, and choices awaited everywhere, but the spark of humanity, once remembered and embraced, would continue to shine across worlds. Captain Aiden took a final look at the planet, feeling both humility and pride. He had been tested, awakened, and guided. He had made choices that reflected the best of humanity, and he had learned that courage, intelligence, and compassion together formed a power that no obstacle could overcome. As the ship lifted once more, carrying him back toward Earth, Aiden felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The lessons of the alien woman, The trials and the choices he had made were not just memories, they were part of him. Humanity had faced countless challenges and would face many more, but he knew now that humans had a unique strength that could inspire, protect, and transform. And so Captain Aiden continued his journey, carrying with him the spark of humanity, the clarity of purpose, and the knowledge that even in the vastness of the universe, humans could shine brighter than any star. His legacy, like the lessons he had learned, would endure, a testament to the extraordinary potential of being human. The stars stretched before him, infinite and inviting. And Captain Aiden knew that humanity's story, like his own journey, was only beginning.